الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. So we're doing really nice hadith. يقول عن أبي عن أبي جهل قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إلا أنا يكذب ولكن يكذب ما جئت به فأنزل الله تعالى فيهم فإنهم لا يكذبونك ولكن الظالمين بآيات الله. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Very interesting hadith. See, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وعن علي narrated on the authority of Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala said, أن أبا جهل, once Aba Jahl said, قال للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, إنا لا نكذبك. We do not deny you. We do not make you a liar. We do not consider you untrue. ولكن نكذب بما جئت به. But we reject that which you brought it. Right? فأنزل الله تعالى فيهم. So Allah Ta'ala revealed with regards to them. فإنهم لا يكذبونك. Verily they do not reject you. ولكن الظالمين بآيات الله يجحدون. But rather the oppressors, right? The wrongdoers بآيات الله. The signs of Allah Ta'ala يجحدون. They reject. رواه Tirmidhi. Imam Tirmidhi narrates particular riwayat. Who can tell me why this particular? Remember, we were discussing here. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Nahmadu wa nusalli ala Rasulil Kareem. We're discussing the character, the beautiful character of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What is the link of this riwayat? Lukman, tell me, how does this? What is the relevance of this riwayat? Why was it brought here? Can you tell me, Lukman? Maybe for somebody, if the online guys also, they can tell us what was the relevance of this particular hadith. Why was this hadith brought under this chapter? Look at it again. Just take a minute. I want to see if you can unravel this one here. Inna la nukazzibuka walakinna zalimina walakin nukazzibu bima ji'ta bihi. We do not say you are a liar. We do not reject you, but rather we reject bima ji'ta bihi, that what you brought it. فأنزل الله تعالى, then Allah Ta'ala revealed, فإنهم, verily they do not reject you, but rather they reject, but rather it oppresses our signs, they reject it. Luqman, can you work out the link there? What is the link between the hadith and the chapter? What? They appreciated the character of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Say again. Okay, you're on the right track there. More or less on the right track. What the hadith is saying, that despite their hatred for Islam, despite their hatred for the message of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they couldn't say he's a liar. That means his integrity was of such an impeccable nature. His integrity was of such an impeccable nature that they could not accuse him of being a liar. They could accuse him of being a mad person, majnoon, sahir, all that type of things. But he was such a truthful and honest person that there was no way they could accuse him of being a liar. So that speaks volumes about his character. That is why something came through here. Okay, good input also here from the online people, right? Let me just read out. They say they never want to have fights with Nabi Sallam because he came with the book, and they're also jealous of the Nabi. Yes, they recognize Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to be a true prophet, right? So they didn't want to pick a fight with him. That's what's coming through. Remember the famous incident. In fact, we're going to do it now. In fact, we're going to discuss this in Babul Mab'athi wa Bad'il Wahi. When Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam got the instruction that he should now openly declare his message. In the initial stages of Islam, it was وَأَنذِرَ عَشِيرَتَكَ الْأَقْرَبِينَ, that you only warn your close family members. But then when instruction came, now you must openly warn. You must openly warn, right? So he asked the kuffar, the Quraysh, etc., tell me, if I to tell you there's an army here that's about to attack you, will you believe me? Would you believe what I'm saying?
They said, definitely we'll believe what you are saying, that we only found you to be a truthful person, right? So, well, if you believe me, then I'm telling you with utmost certainty that if you do not accept my message, then something worse than an army attacking you will happen to you, right? There's just random instances that come to mind. Maybe if you can remember some instances, you can share it. Remember when there was a dispute about the who will put the Hajar Aswad by the Kaaba, remember? So then Nabi Sallam gave the idea. He said, look here, let's take all the chieftains of the Quraysh and they will hold the Hajar Aswad in a cloth, and everybody will draw close to the Kaaba, and then one person will take it and put it in its place. So, and they said, who will be the person who will put it in its place? The one who comes the one who comes first tomorrow morning. And the next morning, the first person that came was Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And when they saw him, they were all happy because he said, Ja'al Amin, Ja'al Amin, the trustworthy, the honest person came, right? So the point I'm making here, the point is that see that despite their hatred for him, nowhere will you find, they accuse him of being a sorcerer. They accuse him of a foreign person teaching him, a foreign agent teaching him, all that type of thing. But nobody ever accused him of being a liar. That's why they say, look here, inna la nukazibuk. We not say you are a liar because we can't say that. You have, over the period of time since we know you, we've only found you to be a true person. So if we're going to accuse you of being a liar, then we will only be discrediting ourselves. Like in simple example, if somebody is known to be an honest person, he's got a reputation, he always speaks the truth, and everybody knows him to be an honest person, and then somebody comes and says, "Hey, this guy, no, man, he's lying, man. He's talking nonsense. This guy is shooting here. I don't think he's speaking the truth." Will anybody believe that person? They'll say, "No, man. This person here, he's a person of integrity. This person here he's got your reputation of speaking the truth. We'll rather believe him. We won't believe you." So they knew that if they to say, "No, he's a liar. He is a liar. He's not speaking the truth," nobody will believe him. No, because he's got this impeccable reputation. And then just another incident come to my mind that we'll do inshallah when we do Bukhari Sharif. It comes there, the famous hadith where Abu Sufyan and his companions, they went to Baitul Maqdis on a trade mission. And Herakl, Hercules, that time he said, is there anybody from this land of Arabia where this person claims, prophethood? So Abu Sufyan, etc., went forward. Beautiful hadith. Uh, so much we can learn. In fact, one day I gave a whole bayan on this hadith. So he asked him several questions. And after he asked him the questions, he gave him the wisdom and the hikmah behind each question. Then he asked him one question, tell me that this person here that claims prophethood, um, does he have a reputation of lying? Does he lie in everyday things? They said no, he does not lie. He does not lie. He's I'm just paraphrasing. He's absolutely true person. So after he asked all the questions and he got the answers, he gave the wisdom behind each question. We'll do this in Bukhari Sharif, inshallah. Don't worry. So he said, look here. The reason I asked this question that if a person doesn't lie about mundane things, everything they things about like I done this or I done that or I sold this or I stole that, whatever, then how will he have the jur'at to lie against Allah Ta'ala? You understand what I'm saying? If a person doesn't have the courage, he's not so audacious that he will lie with small things, then it's inconceivable that you will lie against Allah and say Allah Ta'ala made me a messenger. You understand what I'm saying? So obviously lying against Allah Ta'ala is a much more grave and a much more serious thing than lying with regards to everyday things. So a person who does not lie with everyday things, you will never ever lie against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is why I asked, is he a truthful person? Is he an honest person? So you can see also now from this we learn, as a person of deen, as a person involved in learning, teaching, conveying, you'll be giving talks, you'll be speaking, advising. You need to have a impeccable reputation. You could have a reputation of integrity for people to take you serious. If you don't have an impeccable reputation, people will not take you serious. So they see the inna la nukazzibuka. We do not deny what you are saying, but walakin nukazzibu bima ji'ta bihi. We reject it which you brought it because it is too difficult to stomach. We do not want to abandon our false idols, etc. And Allah Ta'ala then reveals a verse affirming that فَأَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فِيهِمْ. Allah Ta'ala revealed with regards to him فَإِنَّهُمْ لَا يُكَذِّبُونَكَ. They cannot reject you because you are beyond rejecting. Your um, integrity is impeccable. ولكن الظالمين, but the oppressors, بآيات الله يجحدون. Our signs, our laws, our commandments, يجحدون, they reject it. Why? Because they find it unpalatable, they find it distasteful. رواه الترمذي, Imam Tirmizi narrated. So remember the link I told you before. You must always find the link between the hadith and the chapter heading. And the chapter heading here was obviously with regard to the character of Nabi Sallallahu. So the author won't bring a hadith without any good reason. He won't bring a hadith without any good reason. There must be a link. So you must understand and recognize that link. And the link here is about the impeccable reputation of honesty of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, which was a sign of his nubuwwat, etc. So as I said, these signs are not here just for us to admire or to discuss. These signs are here for us to imbibe and bring it into our life. Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq, inshallah. The next hadith also very, very beautiful hadith. This hadith coming forth, subhanallah, it will shake you to the core. Read that next hadith, inshallah.
وعن عائشة رضي الله عنها قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يا عائشة لو شئت لسارت معي جبال الثابت جاءني ملك وإن حجته لا تساوي الكعبة فقال إن ربك يقرأ عليك السلام ويقول إن شئت نبيا عبدا وإن شئت نبيا ملكا فنظرت إلى جبريل عليه السلام فأشار إلي
Subhanallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Listen to this hadith, absolutely beautiful. When Aisha narrated the authority of Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala said, قالت قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يا عائشة أو عائشة لو شئت لسارت معي جبال الذهب. Oh, as Aisha, if I wanted, if I wished, then a mountain of gold would have me. That is what does mean a mountain of gold. That I would have been wealthy. I could have been fabulously wealthy. I could have had all the ease. I could have had all the comforts of this dunya with me if I wanted. He's telling us Aisha Siddiqa, right? He says, Ja'ani malakun. An angel came to me. Wa inna hujzatahu. Hujja referred to the waste. Remember that hadith I told you about when Nabi Sallallahu said that you people are like moths plunging to your destruction, plunging into a light, and ana akhidu bihujjazikum. I'm holding you by your waist and you're preventing same that word, right? So you say this angel came, wa inna hujzatahu la tusawi al-ka'bata. The waist of this angel, it is the equivalent size or height of the Kaaba. He said, and so this angel came to me with a special message. And what is the message this angel came with? He said, he said, قال إن ربك يقرأ عليك السلام. That your Rabb conveys his salam to you. Right? يقرأ عليك السلام. ويقول, and he says, إن شئت نبيا أبدا أو محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. If you wish, you can be a Nabi and a slave. What is meant by Nabi? You can be a Nabi and you can be a simple, down to earth, humble person, right? But وَإِن شِئْنَا نَبِيًّا مَلِكًا. Malakun, angel. Now, remember, I told you, Zabar is on top, or Fatah is on top, so it refers to angel on top. Don't get it wrong. And Kasra is at the bottom, so it refers to somebody on the dunya. وَإِن شِئْتَ نَبِيًّا مَلِكًا. Or if you wish, you can be a prophet and a king. Who was a prophet and a king? Sulaiman alayhi salam. He had all the riches of the dunya, right? وَإِن شِئْتَ نَبِيًّا مَلِكًا. So Nabi, just picture this. I want you just to picture this here. Think about it. فَنَظَرْتُ إِلَى جِبْرِيلَ عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامِ. So I was not sure. Like, sometimes somebody's asking you something, you don't answer. You're looking at your wife. She's in charge. She normally makes the decisions. So you're looking at her for guidance. Right? فَنَظَرْتُ إِلَى جِبْرِيلَ عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامِ. I looked at Jibreel alayhi salam. فَأَشَارَ إِلَيَّ أَنْ ضَعْ نَفْسَكَ. Made like this. Just look at me. He said, keep yourself low. Keep yourself low, right? So this is right. وفي رواية, and then now we're switching to another riwayat mention, وفي رواية ابن عباس, in the riwayat of the Abbas, he said, فالتفت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إلى جبريل. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم looked to Jibreel, right? كالمستشير له. استشار, يستشير means to seek advice, right? So like how you're looking at a person questioningly, like, you look at the person for guidance. So Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam looked at Jibreel, he turned to him, seek advice. فأشار جبرائيل بيده, as if Jibreel indicated, he said, أن تواضع, keep yourself simple, keep yourself low. فقلت, I said, نبيا عبدا, I choose to be a simple Nabi, right? قالت فكان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. So after Nabi Sallallahu made this decision that now he wants to be a simple Nabi, right? بعد لا يأكل متكئا, you not eat reclining, because normally this is the quality of the rich people. They sit, they recline, and you look. Just think about it. See, just listen. This you might not have think about this. See, when you sit and eat on the floor, you bending towards the food, isn't it? When you sit on the food is lower, so you are bending to the food, right? So you are showing your muhtajgi, you showing your need to the food. So this is a blessing of Allah Ta'ala. I will bend towards it. But think about it, when you sit on the table, the food is being brought up to you. The food is being brought up to you. So that is why ulama, they explain, they say, just on show your need to the food. Doesn't want Hakim Akhtar Saab, he should stress upon this. He always say, don't put the food on the table before you are there. The food mustn't wait for you. You must wait for the food. And you see Mana Abdul Hamid, etc., they're very particular about this. First, if everybody sit down, now you bring the food. And when you finish, don't everybody stand up and then the food is left behind. Now they take the food away. So showing you that you are more important than the food. What you do is first pick up the food, respect the food, then you stand up. You understood? So I was saying you show your need to the food. You show your need to the food as though we are in need of the food. Yes, one is a person now for some valid reason or the other. Maybe they're old or they got some handicap, can't bend down, or leg is sore, or arthritis. Now they're sitting on the table or they're sitting on a chair, whatever. That's a different scenario. But if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed you, so he said, La ya'kulu muttaki'an. I would never eat reclining on something like the rich and arrogant. And look how beautiful it is. Yaqulu akulu kama. You can say akulu or akulu, you'd understand in yourself. Akulu kama ya'kulu abdu. I eat like how a slave eat. Like I told you, bending down and showing my need to the food, right? Wa ajlisu kama yajlisu abdu. And I sit like how a slave sits. رواه في شرح السنة, and he narrates this in شرح السنة. Subhanallah, what a beautiful hadith, what a beautiful hadith. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam has made it easy for us, because I'll tell you why he made it easy for us. If he chose riches, if he chose opulence, we could always argue and say that, look here, it was easy for Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam to practice because he had the resources, he had the money, etc. We don't have the resources, we don't have the money. But Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam showed us how to practice upon Islam, how to practice, be a good Muslim despite challenging circumstances. And that is why Allah Ta'ala had made Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's life so challenging. Grew up as an orphan, lost his grandfather, lost his pillar of support, as Khadija radiallahu anha, then his daughters became widows, and their husband became divorcees, and they became widows, etc., etc. All of us was to show us, despite that nobody has an excuse not to practice upon Islam. Nobody has a excuse not to practice. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was sent under the most challenging circumstances, and despite that, he practiced upon Deen. So nobody has any reason not to practice upon Deen. So here we can see that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, it was a conscious choice that he chose poverty, or he chose simplicity over anything else. Alhamdulillah, with the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we've come to the end of that chapter. Remember, the first chapter is we done the physical features of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We finished that, which we said is a khulq, right? The surat. And when we finished that, then we started the chapter with regards to the seerat, the beautiful akhlaq of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, um, alhamdulillah, we've come to the end of that. Just check if the page is correct. Allah Ta'ala accept it from us. Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq and the hidayah to bring all of these beautiful qualities in our life. Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq to slowly bring it in our life and make us paragons of taqwa and paragons of the sunnah of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the next interesting chapter we're going to be doing now. So Allah Ta'ala accept that. Allah Ta'ala put it in our mizan, in our scale of deeds. And Allah Ta'ala convey all the reward of that. Because obviously studying the hadith, studying the sunnah of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is loaded with reward. Allah Ta'ala convey all of that reward to our marhumeen, our grandparents, parents, husbands, wives, children who passed away. Allah Ta'ala let show it on their scales and show it on our scales and make it a means of mercy for them. Anyway, the next interesting chapter we're going to be doing now is also, in fact, this next chapter will be the first chapter we'll be doing when we start Bukhari Sharif, inshallah. Babu Bada'il Wahyi. So here, Shareef Mishkaat got an addition to his title. So I told you before, if you study Mishkaat Sharif well, properly, that's why you only do one hadith book. Inshallah, when you come to Bukhari Sharif, it will be not when you come to Bukhari Sharif, when you come to the say Sita in the final year, it will be easy because it's the same discussions. Yeah, it's few extra discussions, but all the core discussions are the same thing. Because look, our Shariat is one, our Quran is one, our Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is one. So you don't expect to find something different in say Sita. You find a different Shariat, or you find new hadith, or you find a new Nabi or anything. Everything is the same. Everything will be the same because our Shariat is one, right? So if you study, that is why our Ustads, our Satis, I would emphasize that you do your Mishkat Sharif well, do it solid. Remember when you're doing, say, Sita, when you come the final year, you're doing up to 8 kitabs like Mishkat Sharif. How many kitabs you doing? You're doing 8 Mishkat Sharifs one time, and they're all voluminous. So where can you pay the same attention? Where can you make mutala of all? You can't do that. That is why if you do Mishkat Sharif properly, I told you all the core arguments, the pure ikhtilafat, everything, the words, all are found there. So you have to, once you do Mishkat Sharif properly, then the Sayyida is a breeze for you. It is a, there'll be certain extra things. Anyway, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ba'abul Mab'athi wa Bad'il Wahi. The chapter with regards to, and Ba'atha ya refer to Nabi Sallallahu being commissioned as a prophet. وَبَعَثْنَا فِيهِمْ رَسُولًا. Ba'atha, right? وَبَدْعِ الْوَحْيِ with the Hamza and the beginning of Wahi. So the relevant verse here, you know the first verse, اقرأ بِاسْمِ رَبِّكَ الَّذِي خَلَقَ خَلَقَ الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ عَلَقٍ. Read in the name of your Rabb, the one who has created, and he has created man from a clot of blood. Al-Mab'ath. I told you it comes from Ba'atha. And this word appears in the Quran in several places. Right? Ba'atha. It means basically to send. Right? Ba'atha. Allah Ta'ala says, وَبَعَثْنَا فِيهِمْ رَسُولًا. To send somebody. Or even means to erect something. It even refers to give life again for a second time. Remember, after we spend our time in the barzakh, so being resurrected for a second time also, this word is also, ba'atha is also used for that, right? So, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, without any ikhtilaf, without any difference of opinion, at the age of 40, he was commissioned as a Nabi. Now listen to this. This is some interesting facts and figures. Remember, I told you, I mentioned here yesterday, just in today's lesson, I mentioned that when Nabi Sam stood on Mount Safa and he made the announcement that, look here, if I inform you there's an army here that's about to attack you, will you believe me? They said, yes, we'll definitely believe you because our experience with you is only experience of truth. We never experienced any dishonesty from you, so we got no reason to deny you. We got no reason to just reject you. So this that you done also in Qasas part 5 when he says, Ya Sabaha. Remember? Can you remember it? Right. So at the age of 40, he was commissioned as a Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and exactly 3 years after that, he stood on Mount Safa and he began his open dawah. In between, he done his dawah, but it was clandestine, right? He done his open dawah. So remember this: 13 years Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam spent in Makkatul Mukarramah, and 10 years he spent in Madinatul Munawwara. So the complete period of his nubuwwat was 23 years. Then Allah Ta'ala called him home, and obviously, which we or his Wisal, and that is 63 lunar years. And that would probably be in English, or according to solar calendar, it will be about 60 years, right? So a relatively young life, no? Short life in today's day and age, that's also considered to be a short life, right? So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was buried in the Ghurfa, the Hujra of Hazrat Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala anhu. That those of us who went there, we know this is the house or the place where he resided with Aisha Siddiqa. And when he passed away, when the Sahaba Ikram were confused, they were not sure what to do, then Abu Bakr remembered or reminded them that Nabi Sallallahu said that a Nabi is buried at the same place where he passes away, right? So this is the place where he spent his life with his beloved wife, Hazrat Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala anha. This is where he passed away, and this is where he was buried. So this is now, initially, obviously, it wasn't part of Masjid al-Nabawi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, but with the expansion of Masjid al-Nabawi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, um, it so to say got included in the masjid. So you can say it's in the middle of the, not exactly symmetrically in the middle, but it is like in the masjid. And this is called the Rawdatul Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So that's just a brief thing about Mab'ath, right? He is commissioning as a prophet. Then the word Bad'il Wahyi, Bad'ul Wahyi. So remember there's two words here. One is Bada'a Yabda'u wa Hamza. This is what we call Lughwi Tahqiq, right? Bada'a, Bada'a. Like you say Abda'u, right? With the Hamza, which comes Ibtida, right? Then there's another word, so Bada Yabdu. So Bada'a means to begin. Like, Bismillahi Abda'u, in the name of Allah Ta'ala, I start. Then Bada, not with the Hamza, but with the wow. Like how you get Masha Yamshi. Then you get the harf illa mutaharik ma qabla fata, it changes to harf illa. Like how the famous Nazm, As-Subhu Bada. You must have heard it, the famous Nazm we grew up. As-Subhu Bada. That the morning has broken, the dawn is broken. That is Bada Yabdu. That's a different word. So if you say Bada'a, the root word is Ba Dal Hamza. Bada'a. Right? So that means to begin. Just remember this to help you in future, inshallah. And what is Bada Yabdu, which is Badawa Yabdawu. And then obviously the wow changes like how that you done in yourself, right? So one is Bada'a Bad'u, and one is Buduwun, right? So Bada means to begin, and Buduwun means for something to appear. That's why I say As-Subhu Bada, that the morning has appeared, right? The morning has broken. So here, the Sharis actually both could be intended. It could be Bad will Wahi, that the appearance of Wahi, or it could be Bad il Wahi, it could be the beginning of Wahi, right? Now, normally when we discuss any word, first we look at the lughwi tahqiq. We look at what is the literal meaning, like what it translates as, and also we look at what the technical meaning is, right? Right. So we're going to look at that here now. Firstly, what is uh, the You can say the lugh means al-wahyu wal isharatul khafiyatu, which means it's a very subtle indication when you inform something about something in a very subtle way. You inform somebody about something in a very subtle way. Like it could be like through indication. So you inform some, there's a literal meaning in the indication, or by signs, by hand signs, or by in ambiguous words, right? Kinaya, or very quietly. That is why, when we know madrasa or marhum Ustad Mufti Muhammad Hashim, rahmatullah alayh, if like the Ustad would ask somebody something, a question, and if somebody would whisper the answer to him, he say somebody's getting wahi, somebody's getting wahi. So what does he mean by wahi? It means the lexical meaning. You're getting the answer in a very, very subtle manner. So literally, not the technical. We'll do the technical meaning, the Shari meaning. In Shari, to speak about wahi, we'll do that. But the literal meaning of wahi is to inform somebody something in a very, very subtle manner, right? Not in an obvious manner. Right, you got that. So that is the literal meaning. But in Shariat, when we speak about wahi, that the prophets got wahi, etc., so we speak about the istilahi meaning, the technical meaning of wahi. هو الإعلام بالشرع is when هو الإعلام, it is informing, right, something about the shari, a message that come to a nabi with regards to the shariat. So here in Urdu you got Anbiya Ikram ki taraf shara'i pehamat पहुंचाना का नाम wahi hai. So to inform the Anbiya, because only a Nabi can get wahi. We discussed this, we discussed it before, about ilham and all that type of things. That's different. Pious people get ilham, they get kashf. So it's only a Nabi that can get wahi, and that is a shara'i message. There are several ways of wahi, several methods of how the shara'i message, the shara'i information can come to a Nabi. Take note of this, inshallah. Sometimes the angel comes in the form of a human being. And the famous hadith, hadith of Jibra'il, the first hadith of Mishkaat Shareef, those who were with us from the beginning will remember. Alhamdulillah, all the lectures are being downloaded now. So if anybody wants to see it. So uh, the angel comes in a form, and is mentioned that generally as a Jibra'il would come in the form of a Dahya Kalbi. He was an extremely handsome Sahabi. The famous hadith, he came with spanking white clothes, jet black hair, etc. So the angel will come in the form of a human being. Mostly the angel would come in the form of Dahya Kalbi, although at times he would come in other forms as well, of other Sahaba Ikram, but mostly. Sometimes the angel would come in his original form. It's mentioned that Nabi Jibreel Amin came twice or thrice in his original form to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The first time he came, when the famous we're going to do now, when the verse was revealed, Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. There it comes in a riwayat, will come, we'll do it, that as Jibreel was so huge, his one wing covered the whole eastern horizon, and his other wing covered the whole western horizon, and the reason was shaken up. That's why this is the famous, when he rushed was the Khadija, he said, Zammiluni, Zammiluni, Dathiruni, Dathiruni. Right. So sometimes the angel will come in his original form. Sometimes Allah Ta'ala will put something into the heart of a Nabi directly, without it. Just, this is what we can say, it's a term, this ilqa'un fil qalbi. Ilqa'un fil qalbi. It goes directly into the heart of a Nabi. Then we know, we done this in detail, we discussed this in Tafsir ibn Kathir, and so we discussed this in Mishkaat Shareef, that it's not possible. We done it in Aqidatul Tahawiyah, we done this in detail, that La tudrikul absar wa huwa yudrikul absar, that we, the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, we believe that it's not possible for the human eye to see Allah Ta'ala in his current form. But yes, we will see Allah Ta'ala in Jannat, remember? So, in keeping with that, if it's not possible for a human being in this dunya to see Allah Ta'ala in a wakeful state, yes, you can see Allah Ta'ala in a dream, etc. There's a different thing. So, sometimes Allah Ta'ala would speak to the Anbiya alayhimu salatu wa taslim behind a parda, or not behind a parda, but without showing himself. And obviously, the most famous of this is what? Musa alayhi salam, when he went to Mount Tur and he spoke to Allah Ta'ala, alhamdulillah, this hadith also, this verse also, we done it in detail, we done it in Tafsir ibn Kathir, right? Then the next one is called Insilahe Bashariyat. Insilahe Bashariyat means this. Allah Ta'ala actually takes the Nabi out of this world. He takes him, maybe his bodily is in this world, but he takes him out of the physical realm. He takes him out of the physical realm and he takes him to another realm. It's called Alam Malakutiyat. So in other words, he leaves this dunya for a while. Maybe his body remains in this and he goes to a different realm. And there he receives the message. It is mentioned that this was the most difficult form of wahi upon our beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, these were some of the different form of wahi. Inshallah, when we come to Bukhari Shareef, we'll do a bit more detail upon that, but that is sufficient for now. I see the time is almost up, but let's just do one or two hadith for the barakah, inshallah. Read the first one, Al-Fasl al-Awwal. Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وعن ابن عباس narrated about Ibn Abbas قال بعث رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, like I told you, yeah, ba'atha, we can take it in the meaning of the technical meaning. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was commissioned as a prophet لأربعين سنة at the age of 40 Islamic or lunar years. فمكث بمكة ثلاث عشرة سنة. Then he resided and stayed in Mecca for another 30 years. يوحى أوحى يوحي أوحي يوحى يوحى إليه, was revealed to him. In other words, he stayed for 13 years whilst revelation was sent to him. ثم أمر بالهجرة. Then he was instructed with hijrah that now you have to leave Makkah al-Mukarramah, you have to go to Medina, and you have to establish the Islamic State there. ثم أمر بالهجرة فهاجر 10 سنين. He made hijrah for 30 years. ومات, and he sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away. وهو ابن 63 سنة. He passed away while he was literally a son of, but it means a person of 63 Islamic years. Muttafaqun alayh. There's a muttafaq alayh riwayat. There's a riwayat um, appears in Bukhari and Muslim. So I told you, as we go through the sabak, inshallah, you'll see different riwayat speaking about the ages and the times. But this is the most authentic riwayat with regards to the time frames, the chronological order of the life of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That was 40 years was Nubuwwat, 13 years in Makkah al-Mukarramah, and then 10 years in Madinah Munawwara, and passed away at the age of 63 years. In fact, I told you, we mentioned last time that Imam Bukhari was very, very stringent and very rigid in his categorization of hadith, etc. With regards to all the riwayat, he confirmed this as rajih. So if we find any other riwayat that's speaking about different time frames in different time spans, what we'll do is we'll say that there's kasar, like it was just rounding off. Like, sometimes it may be like, just some example, 9 people came here. You say about 10 people came here, more or less. Your idea is not to give the exact amount, but your idea is just to give more or less. Okay, we'll just stop there, inshallah. We will switch over now to the tafsir, inshallah, tafsir ibn Kathir, Surah A'raf. We will continue with that, inshallah. Same link. We